Hello, hello, hello. It's attorney Savannah DeBarros with the SL DeBarros Law Firm. Also the founder and host of What Are You Sporting About podcast. If you have not yet heard one of my podcast episodes, make sure that you go and search for What Are You Sporting About podcast. You will definitely be inspired. Well, today I am before you to talk about this Clubhouse lawsuit, what you can learn from it as a business owner, some of the things you should be thinking about when you're thinking about creating a business, what protection of that business should look like, what steps you should be taking along the way in that business. So if you have not yet seen this, okay, Clubhouse has been sued by this company called SBS Consulting. And so essentially what was happening, or what is happening, SBS is the senior company who already was known as the Clubhouse, the Sports Clubhouse. And what they allege is that the Clubhouse app, as we all know it now, and you can see it on my screen, has these rooms where they speak to certain sports clubs that are within the Clubhouse app. And so basically that infringes upon the brand of SBS Consulting of their sports clubhouse. And they even say all they had to do, all the Clubhouse people had to do, Clubhouse app people had to do, was do a general search on the USPTO, database to see if there was already an existing trademark, right? They didn't do that. Why is that important? Okay, I have dealt with so many business owners, big and small, who have made the fatal mistake of not engaging in due diligence with their business. It happens all the time, more frequently than I would want it to happen. But seeing this lawsuit, I know that it's not surprising. There are billion-dollar companies all over this country who fail to just think through every single piece of the puzzle prior to starting something. Now, a lot of individuals, and I've said this before, if you've heard me talk about businesses and creating new business relationships, starting new streams of income, people avoid having counsel. And their idea is that counsel is expensive. But when you get pulled into a lawsuit, that lawsuit is expensive. And what you're going to end up finding yourself dealing with, is the cleanup or the so-called workaround that you're going to demand your counsel to engage in. Okay. So this is not the only lawsuit that Clubhouse has been hit with. Let me just pull up this suit. Let me see if I can share my screen with you guys. All right, let me see. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay. So there's a lawsuit that, and this was earlier this year as well, in Germany over data protection. So if any of you have companies where you have a reach in Europe, you want to be cognizant of their data protection laws. The one thing that comes to mind is the GDPR, and that's the Euro rules around data collection for customer lists. So the people who come to your website, how do you collect their data information? Do they give you permission to collect that particular info or not? What do you do with the information later? So if your reach is very broad and you know that you are reaching folks in different areas, you want to be cognizant of what the data protection and consumer rules are. So for instance, in this lawsuit with Clubhouse, these are the things that they were talking about. So there was no imprint, which they call an obligation to publish an impressum, a form of legal notice. And this just basically tells the consumers like, hey, this is who this company is. When you check this particular box, you are saying that we're trustworthy and we can add you to our list. But not only that, they are given certain notices and have the ability to assert certain claims too, based on that. So it's not just a trademark. It's just not the trademark stuff that Clubhouse has been hit with. So many times I have talked about contract law and protecting your rights through contract, protecting your rights with the relationships that you build around your business. But what about the trademark? Okay, what about the intellectual property? We cannot afford to do messy business, okay, because we don't want to spend that money. There are some things that we just can't avoid spending the money on. And if the money piece is the part that is getting you, I urge you to do or to have a mindset shift around that. Then it's also how much work are you willing to put in it? So part of the lawsuit for SBS Consulting against the Clubhouse app was, had you just done a simple search on the trademark search platform, you would have saw that there was already a trademark. So let me show you guys how to do that. If you ever want to, when you're starting new things, if you have new products, if you have new business names that you want to create, if you have new frameworks that you've conjured up and you want to sell those in some form or fashion, see if there is a trademark on that name. Now, here's the thing to take note of when you're dealing with trademarks. Even if you have the same name as someone else who you're doing business with the same name, you may be granted that trademark registration with the same name as long as you are in a different industry. It doesn't cause confusion to the individuals that the original trademark owner of that name has. And that's really a big issue here. Not only did they not apply, Clubhouse app did not apply for the trademark, but it also is, attaching itself to the same marketplace, the same commerce, the same service area as SBS Consulting. Okay, so let me show you how to do that really quick. Let me pull it up here first. Okay, so you can put into your search bar uspto.gov/trademarks. And when you hover over this bar, you can go to searching trademarks. So since we're talking about Clubhouse app, I'm going to search that, just Clubhouse. And I always search live and dead, meaning those names that have been abandoned or no longer in use. So you see all of this that comes up with Clubhouse. So let's just look at the ones that are Clubhouse individually. Right, so here's Clubhouse, downloadable computer software for product and project management. Then you can also see who's the attorney of record on these things. Okay. And this one also shows the design of that name. Right, I think that, yeah, this is the same. This is the same trademark. So interesting fact for trademark, this is the standard. This is standard text of the name. So generally, if you see a registration of a name and it may be double. That could just be someone has trademarked the design itself of the name, and then they've trademarked just the name, which has that standard font, like what we're seeing right here, but it's still owned by the same people or filed by the same attorney, excuse me. Now, if we go down, here are another, and as you can see here, it says abandoned. So this Clubhouse was registered in these particular service industries, okay, for hats, jackets, shirts, shorts, socks, hoodies, jerseys. So let's just say that there was no SBS consulting, and that the Clubhouse app did a search and this was the only Clubhouse that they saw. It would make sense that they would then register to be Clubhouse app, who would have sports categories reaching out to certain sports execs who are already in that industry. It would make sense because they would be technically considered different service areas. Okay, so there would be no conflict here, but they failed to do that. Let's just see. Okay, so then this is the logo for the same one that we just looked at. So Clubhouse BH, that's on video broadcasting services over the internet, right? So from a general viewpoint, it doesn't look like this would conflict if Clubhouse app wanted to file a trademark. But essentially what I'm showing you guys is that and this is why people have counsels, is so that they can go through all of the research to make sure that there is no potential infringement, no issues. This one is dead, which is called the Clubhouse. Let me see this one, the Clubhouse BH, and that's public relations and advertising. Okay. So the reason why you hire counsel is to research this stuff. Research this for you. Make sure that you are able to get federal registration for the name that you've chosen. And that's why it's also important to not really marry a name for your business if it may come down to you having to change it out. You may have to change it out. If there's someone who's operating in the same service area as you with the exact same name and they have prior registration and prior use over you, you will be prevented from the ability to register with that name. Okay, and I think this one here is the registration mark for SBS Consulting. I think that's it. Yep, career advancement in the sports industry. The Clubhouse. So I hope, I really hope that helps you guys to make sure that you at least take the initial steps when you're thinking about what your name is, to do a general search on that. And I always tell my clients as well, not just a general search on the trademark website, but to make sure that, you know, go and do a simple Google search and see, are there products out there that are using this name? Is there an organization that's using this name that may not have had a trademark? Because if it is, and you go and trademark, and you guys are technically serving the same industry, well, what you don't want to have happen over some time is that your brand weakens because there are other people with the same name in the same industry that you have not told that, hey, you can't operate the way that you have been because you're weakening my brand. But what is interesting though with this Clubhouse situation, and I literally was just doing not too long ago an assessment, a trademark infringement assessment for a client, and we were talking about reverse confusion. So what is that? So reverse confusion, if you go and you file for a trademark matter, you can basically argue that this person is infringing upon my brand because they are confusing the individuals in commerce by thinking that this particular brand belongs to theirs. So what happens is, say you have this smaller company like SBS who has something called the Clubhouse, and they bring all these sports people together who are networking and have spaces to help uplift other individuals. But then you have another company like the Clubhouse App who comes in, basically the junior company because it's younger, but they come in, they blow up into this multi-billion-dollar company. And it has other people thinking that SBS belongs to them in some way. If they see it, they think it belongs to them. It's created confusion in the marketplace. And that's why it's called reverse confusion, because that means the younger company now has used this name and this brand so much that other people are associating the name with the junior company versus the senior company who has the trademark registration, who's been there for longer. Okay. So you definitely don't want to be in a situation like that. If you are blessed enough to conjure up something that is amazing and ends up being $1 billion business, that's look, that's more than enough reasons to make sure that all of your ducks are in a row. But it almost feels like when I talk to small business owners, and small can be $25 million, okay, as a business owner. When I talk to small business owners, they never believe that things like this can happen to them because maybe they have not dealt with any type of strife in their business. So take heed. First thing you should be doing right now is checking your name. Have you even reached out to an attorney to do a research on your name? Have you filed a registration for your name? Are you even infringing on someone else's name? Okay. Let me give you a quick story. There is this young lady who reached out to me. It's been probably about 3 years ago now. And she has a hair care line. And I think the company is based out of Chicago. And it was Shy something. So, we refer to Shy as CHI. And she was hit with a cease and desist letter from Chi Iron. Do you guys know Chi? So Chi as like CHI, the Chi Iron, like it's a flat iron for your hair. Although it sounds different, Chi versus Shy, is still spelt the same. So that's an example. Someone who's already created a business, and they were both in the hair industry. Okay, so that's another thing. So it could go either way. Either you may be infringing on someone and don't know it yet, but what good is it for you to build up this beautiful business over the next several years and then to be hit with a cease and desist or a lawsuit where you lose more on the back end than you would have had you just invested properly in the business to begin with, to make sure that you have protections in place. So, and especially for my product generating clients or folks out there, especially if you are selling a lot online, okay? The data, the privacy piece, the data collection and privacy piece is huge. If you have contact with other people in different countries, you need to be looking at their rules on data collection practices and privacy protections, because you don't want to be hit with something from over there either. And you definitely don't want to have to defend a lawsuit in a foreign country. You don't want to have to do that. I always tell people you don't even want to defend a lawsuit in a different state if you can help it. So you definitely don't want to have to defend a lawsuit in a different country. So I just want you to be mindful and cognizant of that as you look at ways that you can strengthen your business to protect yourself. Like I said, let's go back over it. Look at your name. Do some research on your name if you have not already and gotten a trademark. Google other companies that may have the same name or similar name or the same sound as your name. See if you guys are doing some of the same services or creating some of the same or similar products, okay? And if you have not yet trademarked your brand, you need to do so. All right? So I hope that this has been helpful. This was very interesting when I saw it. And I said, okay, I definitely want to talk to you guys about this lawsuit and trademark infringement and the necessity to protect yourselves. Never start a business and take it day by day. You should be thinking about where you want your business to be in the next 5 to 10 years and work backwards from that. And that will help you to really set up your measures of what needs to be in place to continuously protect you, okay? So I hope this has been helpful. This is Attorney DeBarros. Hey, I will always bring information to you to help you to protect your interests and to give you legal innovation that you can trust. All right, take care. Ciao.